Assalamu alaikum, my brothers and sisters, my fellow journeyers along the great way, the great return to Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala. So I was just thinking about something, we've just brought out the Ghazali children's series, and I just had to work on the book of fasting for children, many of whom are not fasting, but they can fast. And what really struck me about those few chapters, it's a short book, is Imam al-Ghazali talks about, there is the fast that we all do from food and water, etc., etc. But then there's the fast, where we fast from using our tongue in the wrong way, from listening to the wrong things, from letting our feet carry us in the wrong way, and other levels of that. And I'll tell you how he illustrates it, but it did remind me of the way we understand doing wudu, that when we wash our hands, we don't just do this. And one little boy told me he'd gotten his wudu down to 30 seconds. Who hasn't done it quickly at dawn when it's freezing? But anyway, the whole idea is that as you're washing your hands, you're saying, Ya Allah, forgive me for what I've done, and guide me to do what is correct in thy sight. The mouth, forgive me that I said that wrong thing, that unkind remark. Inspire me, guide me to speak correctly. And then the ears listening to the mind, the heart, but then inspire me, my feet, to take me to places that please you. Well, the fast should be the same way. And we should be fasting on this inner fast from doing all of those things. And imagine if one made a conscious effort for the entire month to really not say anything, never be angry, never argue, never say a mean word about anyone, never make an unkind remark. Imagine if you consciously, with this period of this halwa, this retreat we're on for this month, if you actually did that and didn't listen to anything low, And imagine if you were walking one place and thought, no, let me turn around, let me do this instead with my limbs, the fasting of the limbs. And then, he gave an illustration. There's a wonderful hadith he quotes. And this really struck me. The Prophet, peace and blessings be upon him, must have been during Ramadan. An old lady or two ladies, I forget, came to him and said, we are very frail and old. We would like your permission to not fast, to not complete our fast. And he said to them, well, I'd like you to take this bowl. I want you to throw up in it. And they were surprised, and to the horror of the onlookers, right? They threw up pieces of meat, flesh and blood. People were aghast. And the Prophet said, but you had already broken your fast because you were backbiting. You were speaking badly and unkindly of others. Well, there it is, We know that from the Quran that is what happens, when you backbite behind people's backs, when you speak badly, that you are literally eating their flesh and blood. And when I was working on the children's book, I rewrote that chapter 22 times, and I actually thought, I'm not sure I can put that in the children's book. But then I thought, the Quran says it, and it's, I guess, one of the most horrible images of the Quran that I can think of. Why would Allah say that if it weren't really true? And that evening, sad to tell you this, I went out for dinner with some friends, lady friends, and someone was talking about another lady who was absent, about her father. Horrible stuff, but funny. And I suddenly had to add my bit in. I had a very funny story too, but it was down-putting. And I said it. Then I got in the car and started driving back home. And as I was driving home, I started feeling sick at my stomach. I ran into the house and I literally threw up. And you know what I learned from that? That this is not a metaphor, it's literal. And we are all so veiled and so asleep that people are continuously doing it, you know? And like, I mean, even just think of the Muslims, you know, she's going to hell, he's a kafir, they're no good. We shouldn't say anything. So I'm just saying, why don't we all join together, my fellow travelers? Let's just make the decision during this Ramadan. We won't say anything about anyone. So that's my little Ramadan gift to my fellow beloved sisters and brothers. Assalamu alaikum.